chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the grief of Arjuna. And this first chapter gives the introduction to the main teaching of Bhagavad Gita, which begins from the second chapter. But the study of the first chapter is very important because it introduces Gita, and also it reveals to us the problem which is resolved in the rest of the Gita, or the question which is answered in rest of the Gita, or the situation which is tackled in the rest of Gita. So after studying this first chapter, we will come to know that Arjuna was thoroughly grief-stricken. He became very sorrowful, and he was extremely confused. And this confusion was regarding his duties, that what I should do, whether I should fight this war or I should not fight this war. And also his confusion was regarding his own self, his self-image, as I was mentioning yesterday, what he considered himself to be as a mere body, as a human being, or did he consider himself to be a jiva, or did he consider himself to be something more subtler and sublime? And after studying this first chapter, we come to know that Arjuna's understanding about himself is what most of us, we have understanding about ourselves. We consider ourselves as a mere a body with mind and intellect, but we are not aware in the state of ignorance about our own supreme nature. Therefore, Bhagavan taught the entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and through Arjuna to all of us. And through this Gita, he revealed our real nature. And also, Bhagavan Krishna revealed to us the duties or the work which we have to perform in this world, so that we not only gain the outer prosperity, but ultimately gain the supreme goal of our life, and that is to recognize ourselves, self-discovery. So it begins, this Gita begins with Dhritarashtra's question we saw. He asked Sanjaya that what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do on the battlefield? Though this whole story is there about this Mahabharata, but if we look at the names which are there of all these characters, like Dhritarashtra or Duryodhan, Dushasan or Yudhishthir, we also come to know that they also represent they symbolically represent something much subtler. Like Yudhishthir means one who is very firm in yuddha, in war, very clear about his views and his motives. Duryodhan means one who is a bad yodha, a bad warrior, not a peaceful warrior, bad warrior. Dushasan means one whose shasan is corrupted, not good. His governance, his understanding of ruling is not proper. Similarly, here Dhritarashtra means one who is holding on to Rashtra. So Dhritarashtra is shown as a character who was blind, but not only physically blind, but it seems he was internally also very blind. He had great attachment to his kingdom, and also to his son Duryodhana and other sons also, but more to this eldest son. And he was blind to whatever he was doing. Even when he was doing adharma, our Dhritarashtra did not say anything to him because of his intense attachment. So we have at one side this Duryodhana and the entire Kauravas, and on the other side we have the Pandavas. So this whole story can be taken as symbolic representation of our inner equipment, our mind, our intellect. Symbolically, it can mean that the two forces are there within us only. The Kauravas are the negative forces within us, and the Pandavas are the positive forces within us. It is said that every one of us, we have Daivi and Asuri qualities in us. Every one of us, we are potentially good as well as potentially bad. It depends on which gets more prominence, which becomes more prominent and which gets dominated and which gets suppressed. Those qualities come up. Therefore, a person can be influenced to become externally influenced to become extremely good and extremely bad also. We see a story in the Puranas about Prahlad. He was born in a very Rakshasa family. His father was a famous Rakshas, Hiranyakashipu. But still, because of the influence of Naradji, when he was in mother's womb, he turned out to be a good person. So one can become good and bad, depends on the influence. So here, the two armies or the two sides, Pandavas and Kauravas, represent the two sides of our own mind, the good and the bad. And there is constant conflict between them, among them. The good emotions, the good values, they constantly struggle with the negative values. All of us, we have the value of love, of compassion, of rightfulness, of humility. But at the same time, we also have deep jealousy, fear, greed, and all these other negative qualities also within us. So this Mahabharata can be taken symbolically to mean the inner struggle which we have, and when this goodness surrenders to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, then we can win the war. When we try to fight ourselves with our own mental and intellectual strength, then at times we win and at times we are defeated also. But when we take refuge in that supreme reality, the pure consciousness, take help of the divinity which is within us, take help of the higher power which we attain through meditation and through satsang, then we will be able to defeat the negativity completely. So when Dhritarashtra asked this question, Sanjaya now reveals what happened. We'll chant the second verse. Sanjaya uvacha drishtva tu pandavanikam vyudham duryodhanastada acharyamupasangamya raja vachanam abravit. Together. Drishtva tu pandavanikam vyudham duryodhanastada acharyamupasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Sanjay had this divine vision which was given to him, as I said, by Ved Vyasji. Sanjay was a great, good person, a good minister, and very, very, what we call, unbiased. And Sanjay, the word Sanjay means one who has conquered himself, one who has mastery over his own mind, over his own intellect. And Sanjay also wished deeply that Dhritarashtra should take a decision of stopping this war, because Dhritarashtra alone had the power to stop the war. And also Sanjay indirectly wanted to convey to Dhritarashtra the greatness of Bhagavan Sri Krishna and his Pandavas also, and about dharma. But since Dhritarashtra was very attached to his own son, he begins the description from Duryodhana itself. He says, कि दृष्ट्वा तो पांडवानीकम व्यूढ़म दुर्योधनस्तदा. Both the armies had assembled on the Kurukshetra, and all of them were positioned in a particular formation, both the armies, and the war was about to begin. And here Duryodhana was getting little nervous. See, when we know that we are doing something wrong, then however powerful we might be externally, there is some fear gets created within. Like even Ravan, when he came to kidnap Sita ji, he was little scared. So here Duryodhana was also little scared. So he wanted to speak before the war. He wanted to speak to his one of his commander and his own teacher, Dronacharya. So Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam. So Duryodhana saw the Pandav Sena Vyudham arranged in a particular array. See, in the good old days when they used to, now also we fight, but in those days they used to have those different formations of that army, like we hear the famous formation Chakravyuh and all. And depending on the strength and weaknesses of the army and also the formation of the other army, other side, they used to have this formation. And it was suitable for them to attack or defend accordingly. Like we have in a chess game also, different strategies are there. So this beautiful formation was there. So Duryodhana first saw that formation of the Pandava army, and he approached his teacher, Acharyam Upasangamya. All of them were stationed in their respective places. So Duryodhana was the main chief, you can say, of the Kaurava army, but the whole Kaurava army was commanded by Bhishma Pitamaha. But here, Dronacharya was also a very important warrior on the side of Kauravas. So, our Duryodhana, he approached his teacher, Acharyam, Upasangamya. But how did he approach? When we approach our teacher, we should approach like a student. But here, since he was quite arrogant and had his own vanity and all, he approached like a Raja, like a king. So Raja Vachanam Abravit, he approached his teacher with a lot of pride in his heart, and he spoke the following words. Now Duryodhana, whatever he spoke, is communicated by Sanjaya. So the following, some 9 verses, are words of Duryodhana only. But it is not mentioned separately as Duryodhana Uvacha. Because it is, his words are, by the way, they are not the main dialogue in Bhagavad Gita. The main dialogue in Bhagavad Gita is between Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna only. But the secondary dialogue within which this is happening is between